Okay, so welcome everyone to today's exciting session, just to kick off the new year for a lot of you, and it's all about becoming a more consistent golfer. And today we're discussing the topics of confusion, overthinking, and building a confident game or golf game. Pete, what are your thoughts?
Well, what I do know is that there's always more to know, and in the journey towards becoming more competent, definitely you need to know stuff. But in the process, it's so easy to get confused what to learn and then how to go about doing it, and then you get stuck. So this session here is going to really help unravel quite a lot of blockages for people, I'm sure, because when you know how to go about learning and you do it the right way, then it's a lot of fun. The other way, it's definitely tension and, as you said, confusion. We don't want to have that. So I know you've got some special messages there for us.
We have indeed. So let's get into the messages. So I'm sure some of you have been in this sort of situation. This is a pretty good little picture here. Good illustration we had done years ago, which is, you're standing over the ball, you're trying to keep your head still, transfer the weight. You're also thinking, oh, don't hit it in the water. Maybe things like don't sway. You might be on the first hole and just say, please don't embarrass myself and just get away off the tee. Okay. They're all these issues that we're faced, and one thing they all stem from is lack of confidence and some kind of confusion. So the anatomy behind a confused golfer, if we first want to understand just the definition of confusion, and a good one is like uncertainty about what is happening, intended, or required, which is pretty much confusion.
Golf.
So, it's can be golf, yeah. And an awareness or understanding of what is happening is not clear on mishit shots. So confusion could be your awareness or your understanding of what's going on is not clear of why a particular shot is mishit. A golfer is not sure or what they are of what they are supposed to do, and or intentions. So another form of confusion would be, a golfer is not sure just actually what the next step is to get better. So there is uncertainty about what a golfer needs to do to get better. So there's no real clear path, and these are all the parts that make up some kind of confusion. And also there will be a missing understanding or a misunderstanding or concept within the game. Pete, so what can you share about the anatomy of a confused golfer, and why do people get confused in the game?
Well, basically, to start with, golf is a technique-based game, and you need to have a good technique if you're going to be a consistent golfer hitting the ball to the target. And to become technically proficient, there are a number of pieces that you've got to put together. So the difficulty is when you've either got a wrong idea of a fundamental, like the way you stand or the way you make your backswing. If you have the wrong idea, you certainly will not get the best results. So that will lead to being uncertain of what you're doing, and then in turn you start to lack confidence, and now you tighten up and you go down that downward spiral. So it's kind of it's something that's a lot of golfers, we have to go through the confusion. That's the problem, that you can't learn it all at once. So you've got to be prepared to do it in the right order. When you don't have an order, it's definitely a recipe to be uncertain and to get confused and lack confidence. So to me, it's been a journey for us to discover a path to better golf. And it is a path. It's not an instant quick fix like we all would like. You've got to be prepared to take a few steps on the path, and then you're up and enjoy the journey, as we say. It's step by step. Okay.
Very good, Pete. So let's have a look at what causes you to overthink a golf shot. Has anyone ever been in a situation where they're overthinking something? I have, and I'm sure everyone here has at some point been overthinking something. So let's have a look at what the definition of overthinking is. It's to think about something too much or for too long, which is kind of an interesting thought. Pete, what would you say about just the definition of thinking about something too much or for too long?
Well, basically, if you're just looking at things in theory and you take an idea about the way you grip or the way you stance or whatever part of the swing you got your interest in it, you take that idea and you go straight to trying to hit a golf ball, you're missing the basic steps of building an understanding through doing drills. And so certainly hitting a golf ball can be a drill, but usually if you're going to build better technique, you need to have drills associated with that technique that lead to accuracy in building that technique. So that's people, if they don't have that, there's a tendency to be thinking, I'm not too sure about the grip, and you got to have personal certainty in the fundamentals, and you do that through repetition of drills to build those fundamentals. So that to me is the entrance point. Enough correct repetitions with focus, and you'll build the fundamentals, and then you think and think less. The more you feel, the less you have to think. But thinking is part of the process. It's the entrance point. The more you drill, the less you think, the better you feel, the more you can coordinate and flow and build a golf swing that's going to work for you on the golf course.
Yeah, and if we have a look, when thinking, overthinking arises, it arises when you don't really have a good plan for your practice. So even just a practice session, there's no real purpose or plan. It also arises from a shot on the golf course when you don't have a very clear plan of attack on the golf course for each shot. There is a routine to hit a shot that's unworkable. So when you're out in the golf course, if your routine is not good enough to hit that one shot, it can often cause overthinking. And having a process is to get to a level of confidence and automation and into a state of motion. So if we were to define motion, it's a Japanese term which is empty mind or no thinking. I mean, our goal here, Pete, is really to get to a state of motion, of not thinking and just playing out of your mind. To get to that state, we've got to understand that there's a process, and a process of good technique and what we describe in the laws of accuracy as well. What can you share with us about overthinking and getting our minds into a state of motion from the state of overthinking?
Right. Well, this term came. It is a Japanese word, and it's part of the process that Graham and Henry Bolton did build with their focus band technology, which was to get from thinking consciously to become more automatic and to be in the subconscious area playing golf. And what they discovered was that if you have a routine of a dress routine that incorporates planning the shot beforehand, breathing, very much into breathing. If you breathe 1 or 2 or 3 times, I'd like everyone in the that's watching here to just take 2 deep breaths. We'll go together. Now, when you think of your breathing, it interrupts your other thoughts. So in golf, if part of your routine involves taking a breath or 2 in the process, like I'm going to do here, I'm just going to do the basic address routine of our program, and basically as a flow. I'm just here. It's interesting when you have a nice wide backswing. It's amazing how low the club travels for so long. But I didn't let it interrupt my shot. I was in the flow, but I had the routine to help me. So when I have a routine that's consistent, it helps me get set up in balance. It helps me get nice and relaxed in the muscles, and it gets me into a flow. So that if you have this routine, it reduces the thinking, and the more you do the routine in a calm way, the more it becomes a situation where you don't have to think. You know, you just do it, and basically relax. Watch the ball, hit the ball. So the routine is the entrance point, or one of the entrance points to get the mental side into a calm state where you get more into feeling it rather than thinking what you're doing. You just kind of feel the force, feel the club head weight, feel the balance, and you eventually just do it without even you just do it. But there is a process, and it comes through understanding the fundamentals, through drills, building a routine that allows you then to take that to hitting a golf ball, and then from there learning to hit the ball to the target step by step. Okay, back to you, Chris.
Which brings us to the next point, Pete, which is why you get better results seeing golf as a process. So rather than end destination or thinking, now I've got it, it's a continuous learning cycle.
It is. Yeah, so continuous learning.
Sorry, I just muted myself somehow then. So if we have a look at the definition of a process, it's a series of actions or events performed to make something or achieve a particular result, or a series of changes that happen naturally. So I guess the natural side of it, the better your processes are, then naturally you just get better.
Correct.
Now, a good process gives confidence. If you've got a good process of doing something or a good system, and you want to systemize things, you know, if you got a good system, it breeds confidence. And in any golf skill, there is a mental and physical process to go through to achieve a good shot. So from the mental side and then the physical side, you've got to have those processes really nailed down. You might even write down what actually your physical and mental processes are to get to the result. And it's all about the process and enjoying the journey of practice and play. Many times people are just, you know, when they enjoy the practice, they start playing better. And there's many stories throughout history of great sports people that have you know, just enjoyed the practice, and that's how they become the best in the world, isn't it, Pete?
Yeah, and that's how you become better. The first viewpoint is to you do it because you love doing it. You don't do it because you have to do it. If it's a grind, then it's not much fun. You're going to definitely get more and more thinking, and you're going to get less and less enjoyment out of what you're doing. So you're only here, hopefully, because you want to find a way to get away from the thinking and into more and more the feeling and enjoying the hit. So that's why one, you need to understand the fundamentals of the game very thoroughly, and then you need to blend them together and put them into a routine that just is effortless and seamless. And then once you've got the technique down, then you need to introduce the ball, and you need to introduce a way to train that'll build accuracy, distance control, direction control on a consistent basis with less stress. That's why I've got these targets here, you see. To hit the ball into that the umbrella down there, I haven't done this exercise very much. So rather, if I get up to set it in the umbrella, there's a certain amount of tension or stress or anxiety or a bit of, I'm not too sure whether it's going to work or not. I hit the umbrella, I didn't go in the umbrella. So that is close, but I would be much more confident if I take my technique and learn it and do it in this shorter distance, this first ring here. This is the ring of confidence. I'm pretty confident there. And if you're not too confident there, just bring the ring a little closer, you know. And that's what the laws of accuracy are all about, is doing things, learning things. Don't stress yourself. Don't learn everything at once. Build one little piece at a time, but through the drills, put it together, and you'll think less and less the more you do the drills. You'll feel better. You'll enjoy the contact, and golf. Once you can do the little ones easy, then you gradually build. So that's an entrance point, definitely, to becoming less thinking, more feeling, and to play more relaxed golf and enjoy the hit.
Yeah, enjoy the journey. And as we've been doing in the last month, we've been talking about what we call the laws of accuracy program, which is, there's 5 laws basically to be really good. You've got to have good technique as the foundation. Second, you've got to repeat that technique and again that produces a good impact. And when you're doing those 2 things, you're not really focused about target. Okay, so when you get the technique right and you repeat the technique and start feeling confident, then introduce a target, not beforehand. You know, people introduce targets much too early, and it becomes a little harder to become better as you go along. So Pete, just in summary, just about the process of getting better, how would you advise everyone here to, you know, to start on their journey, or if they're on their journey already, to become a good golfer? Where would you start?
Oh, that's a great, thanks very much for that, because that's really, if you start in the right place, you've got a good chance of getting good. If you start in the wrong place, it's like if you want to climb Mount Everest, it's pretty hard to start halfway up the mountain. You have to start at base camp. You got to get to base camp. From here, it's a bit of a, you have to get an air ticket. So the best place to start golf is not with longer swings, it's with real little baby shots. And in golf, the fundamental things are that initially you need a good grip, you need a good stance, and then you need to be able to build an impact that is solid. So I would recommend that everyone learns to putt and build the impact zone with the putter. Now, putting is a little different to the full swing, and the grip's different, and the arms are normally bent. There are some people that use the arms straight, but in our system, we just like to start in this attitude. So, but the impact angle is the same with a putt as it is with a chip. And I'll show you that in a minute, but you build this area. So if you were to start with very small distances, the width of the hole is always good, because this distance here, pretty hard to miss that other ball. Now, if you're on the golf green, you put your ball this far away from the hole, and you just build Now, I'm doing the actual hitting of the golf ball. What Chris said is before you do this, you need to have an understanding of what impact is and what the difference between the impact and the stance. So I'm just going to grab a grip here. I got a putter grip. So the first thing I need to know is there's the address. But so I've it's kind of out of line, and when I hit the ball, I want this shaft to be in line. I don't want to hit the putt this way. So the first little drill I'd do is I'd be building this as a drill. And so when I can do that without thinking, I can then add the right hand. And so I need to know how the right hand's supposed to work for putting. It doesn't do this or this. It has a certain correct function to hit the ball with impact. So when you put the two together, so once I can do that drill, and I do it a number of times, the more I drill, the less I have to think, the more I can feel it. Then I take the club, very little backswing, no big backswing, just a small one. Once I can get that, then I want to learn how to take the club away, not club head first, but handle first. And when I can put those couple of things together in the little shot, and I can do that with putting going back, and I say, okay, well, it's more than putting. I need to learn how to get the ball up in the air. So what you do is you take a chip shot. You mightn't take the sand wedge or something. You might take a 7-iron. And it's very similar with chipping, but there's a little added thing in that you got the same impact position of the hands, but with chipping, once the arm is straight, then you introduce the body. So now there's some more drills that you need to build. So when you can do the chip, when you can do the chip action correctly on small, I hit this way. Now, first of all, I'd learn to do it small. Then I'd learn to do it a little bit bigger. And then keep your eye on the ball. A little bit bigger. And then gradually you build your confidence because you get competent. And then basically now all of a sudden you're ready to build the pitch shot, you see. So if you do it on a progressive way rather than going straight to the full swing, if you start getting competent and confident with a little putt, impact, little backswing, build the putting, going back, then build the chipping, bit longer, and then you arrive at building the pitch shot, which will really have a few more moving parts. You start to use the wrists. Now, when you drill it, it becomes easy. Straight down the line. You know, it's a no-brainer. But to learn this action, there's drills. And, you know, the one that got us the cover of Golf Digest, we bypassed all these earlier steps and we went to what we call the A to B drill, which was the downswing. Most golfers at some stage or rather have a confusion about how to make the club go on the right path coming down. So as a drill, we said, okay, from the top of the backswing, you don't want to do this or this, and you definitely do not want to pull the club down. You want to release it in the correct direction. When you do it slow, it releases here. As you add speed, that release happens a lot later. So you get the right path. So that was called the A to B drill. And that's where you start to do that. You're going to get a little bit longer shot. I hit one a little bit further this time just to show you that. Now, big deal is don't bypass the address routine. Also watch the ball. So the message I wanted to give there, and we want to give, is that it's a process of building from small, doing it easy. As you get further and further, it all becomes less stressful. less thinking and more feeling, and you'll play golf in a more certain way. You won't have that uncertainty. You'll be on the right track because you're logically building your golf game.
Excellent, Pete. Really good. So what we'll do, we'll finish the session there. And if you've got any questions, please ask. You can hang around and just ask Peter and myself for a little bit. I'm going to also just type in the or pop in the chat box just a link here, and that's the link to our Breaking 80 program, which the whole goal is to get you to a state of breaking 80. And some of you here are on the Breaking 80 program already and doing really well. And actually, I wonder if Glenn's still on here. Glenn, are you there? I'll just, can you unmute yourself, Glenn? You've been on the Breaking 80 program for a while.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yep.
What have you achieved in the last, it's probably been 8 months, I'd say, something like that.
Yeah, I have. It's been really good, actually. I've achieved a lot. I mean, I started off beginning of last year at, I previously played golf, but it was about 20 years ago, and I hadn't played, and I was playing around about, I guess, 12, 13, 14 then. But when I came back to it at the end of, really after a long break, really started playing it seriously again at the beginning of last year. I was off a handicap of 20, and by the end of this year, I just got down to 10. 9.9 officially was my handicap, so I'm very pleased to drop it by that much over that time. And all the credit goes to being part of the Breaking 80 program and working with you and Peter.
Yeah, the beautiful thing going forward is now we've got the laws of accuracy. We'll be able to make those drills so much more accurate, which means those that are on a higher handicap will come down quicker, and those that are on a lower handicap will break those areas and get into the 70s and maybe into the 60s. They do the drills and they'll build the skills, and then they can forget all the technique and the thinking and go out and play good golf.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Glenn. Really well done. Been very impressed with your. It's just about the process. Glenn's really gone through the process. A lot of it's been pitching, chipping, and building the swing that way. Anyway, really well done.
Can I make one comment? One other comment. I retired last year too, so that gave me a lot more free time to actually dedicate to golf. So if anybody was around about my age, which I turned 61 last year, is thinking about doing it when it's spent on golf, then I reckon retirement's good, because then you can really focus on your golf and leave your work behind.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you something to do, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
You knock off work to carry bricks. But they're fun, carrying the bricks. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good. And I think Robin's here as well. Robin, do you just want to unmute yourself and perhaps share your little journey as well? You've done really well in the program.
Yeah, I got down to GA of 13 last summer, but unfortunately golf the last year at Latrobe has been a battle in the wet and then the floods, so I haven't been playing much. But I'm still enjoying it, and I feel like I'm getting a lot better doing the drills.
So where did you start from, and where did you come down to?
I was around 20, I suppose. I can't remember now. 18 to 20, but the handicap system changed, so it's hard to say. But yeah, I think getting to 13 was good. Yeah, a lot better. Yeah. Hitting the ball really straight is the big thing for me. That's what I've learnt to do, apart from changing my swing completely and everything else. And confident to hit shots.
Yeah.
Confident to hit shots. A lot of short game pitching practice too has helped a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. 5 meters, 10 meters, 15, 20 meters, doing that drill.
Yeah, I mean, the chipping and the pitching is the gateway to the to golf improvement. So once you can get that right, you're going to be a pretty good golfer.
I have gone back to putting from basics now. Completely changing my putting technique.
at any level, you have to go back to basics sometimes. I know, Peter, you've been working on the basics.
Yes, yeah, no, and if people want to join me on the path that Lord Accuracy, I've been doing 100 putts, or trying to get 100 in the hole from varying distances, starting at 10 centimeters, 4 inches, and at the moment I'm at 160 centimeters, which is what, 5'4". Anyway, it's basically every day I just do these exercises, and it's amazing going out in the golf course, which I did yesterday, how much better I could putt and felt confident because I didn't have to think about it. I just was able to hit the ball, and so you don't get steering. So the technique plus the way to practice is the way to get good, and the way to stop getting all caught up thinking and getting confused. So that's very important, is build that level of relaxation and just being able to do it.
Excellent. Well, thanks everyone for joining us in the session. We will be sending you a replay of this session. So stay tuned for that. We'll also send you an invitation to join the Breaking 80 program in the next few days as well. So thanks, Peter. Thanks for your time. Thanks everyone for joining in. I look forward to seeing you in the next session. And yeah, enjoy the journey. It is a journey, and enjoy the process of enjoying the practice. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Chris.
everyone.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy New
Bye.
Year.
Bye-bye.